Welcome back to Hot Water Wrestling. Making a reply to Spinnernet's latest video on wrestlers working 300 days a year and how it should perhaps be investigated by the FBI. Well, I guess a week ago, I said in a video something about holding guys off television would make wrestling more interesting. Well, apparently it would make wrestling safer. I agree with what Spinnernet said wholeheartedly, that it's just an overworked schedule that's relatively pointless. They do not need to be doing as many house shows as they do. They just absolutely don't. I live in the South Florida area, which is West Palm Beach, Fort Lauderdale, Miami. And they're doing a show Friday night, December 18th in Miami. And then Saturday they're doing a show in West Palm Beach. And it's nothing for people in those cities to drive back and forth for events and concerts and football games and all sorts of stuff. People do it all the time, they're used to it. There's no point WWE needs to work a show in West Palm Beach and in Miami. If anything, they should do it up in, say, Gainesville or Jacksonville. I don't know. Maybe they're going there too. But I really do think it's a problem, the amount that these guys work and what they put their bodies through. Taking bumps like that is not easy at all. Sometimes people's finishing moves hurt them very badly. I think Jeff Hardy's, all his finishing moves, is safe to say, that hurts him when he does that. That's just one example off the top of my head. And there's plenty of other wrestlers who have finishing moves that hurt them. I'm just about finished with Hulk Hogan's book, so I'm going to do a review on that. But he does talk about in that book how his leg drop really took a toll on his hips. Because he'd have to put the weight, if he hit them with the right leg, the left hip would have to take most of the impact. And it's very true, you know, and with technology today and as fast as everything moves, you know, I think wrestling would be better served. The wrestlers would be healthier, absolutely. The demand wouldn't be as high. They would get some time off, and it would make wrestling more interesting. You know, it would be cool if, like, a guy like Randy Orton, for example, not because he's hurt, but just for no apparent reason, wasn't on Raw for like 2 or 3 weeks. Then, you know, suddenly he pops back up, you know, and maybe he's on consecutively for a little while, and he goes away. Or maybe he pops up once and goes away for a while, too. There's all different ways you can mix it up. I think it'd make it, you know, a lot more special. The shows would be a lot more special if they had less. I think you're going to get rid of ECW, so I think we're all going to get our wish there. And it's fine if they move slow. They don't need to just cut it down the Raw. I mean, you know, but this Superstars thing is kind of silly. I think they could probably just make a rerun of the best of Raw and SmackDown and maybe include a match or two that wasn't televised. So, you know, maybe some of the opening matches, the dark matches. You know, when they do a Monday Night Raw in town, there's usually a match or two before the actual taping begins. Most of you know that. Maybe they can include some of those matches and make them a little interesting. They can get it all done in one night. So that way the Superstar show would be, you know, special. People might watch it because it has extra stuff, but it recaps for people who would have missed SmackDown or Raw. Of course, the only problem with that is that everyone has TiVo or DVR or whatever today, so we don't need reruns, do we? You know, I usually watch Raw within like 45 minutes. Fast forward to commercials, fast forward to shit I don't care about, watch what I want. If it's a good episode like the Jesse Ventura one or the Shaquille O'Neal, you know, I'll watch those all the way through. And some, I love it when I can watch it all the way through, you know, but lately I've had to kind of fast forward through them. Anyways, back to the subject at hand, and that's keeping the wrestlers healthy. And I really do think it needs to be toned down. It really does. It would just benefit not only the creative product, it would make it more exciting for the fans, and above all else, the most important thing, you would keep the wrestlers more healthy. And they would have time to have lives so they wouldn't be so depressed. I mean, when you're on the road 300 days a year, you're so depressed. No matter, it is what they love doing. And that's why they hold on and do it. Okay, that's why they don't fall apart. But it's hard to endure that even if you love it. Very much so. To not be able to connect with people and feel a sense of normalcy and always feel like a gypsy traveling around It's not a very easy thing to do. You know, I've done quite a bit of traveling over like months at a time away from home, and it's very, very, very difficult. But you know, it is fun. It has its experiences, but it is very hard, especially when you're taking the impact these guys are. I mean, shit, you know, I go trip over something and fall and like hit my elbow, and you know, I might be like, ow, that hurts for like 3 or 4 days or something. You never know, you know, or it could be nothing, but it could hurt, you know. I mean, these guys go out there and, you know, they fall out of the ring and they're getting slammed around and all sorts of things happen, you know, and they can't control every fall. I mean, you can learn how to fall, but for God's sakes. The famous line by JR, how do you learn to fall off a 20-foot ladder? You don't. It fucking hurts. And it is wrong that they're on the road that long, and I think it's needless they're on the road that long. Wrestling would be a lot cooler if it moved a little slower. I really honestly think that. It would give storylines time to develop. You could really make more quality storylines. You could really, you know, have real championship runs. So if you give the belt to Edge, you're going to commit to Edge for a little while. And obviously sometimes you would have a quick title change, you know, because you want to keep it interesting, and there's nothing wrong with that, but they are slaves to this fast pace that they've set for themselves, WWE. They really are. They become slaves to it. They've let that dictate the direction of the creative flow of WWE, is their pace, keeping this pace. It's all about the pace. It's not about quality product. It's just about the pace, pace, pace. And it's caught up with them. And people are getting hurt. People are dying. And ultimately, their product's not as good as it used to be. They need to slow the shit down and take their time. And we would like it better too, you know? I mean, it would be much better. Anyways, I just had to reply, and I agree with Spinnernet. And guys, you stay safe. I'll see you next time on Hot Water Wrestling.